All right, so are you ready to dive deep today?
Always.
Okay, perfect. Because today we're going deep into Napoleon Hill's work.
Hmm.
You know, all about achieving success and that whole mind over matter thing.
Yeah.
Well, we've got excerpts from his writings, and we're going to try to
Great.
extract the absolute key principles for turning your desires into reality.
I like it.
Hill wasn't just about positive vibes, you know?
Right.
He had some serious techniques,
Yeah.
and we're going to unpack all that.
I love it. So it's interesting you say that.
Okay.
Because one of the things that really sets Hill apart
Mm-hmm.
is this idea of emotional conviction.
Okay.
He goes beyond just thinking positive thoughts.
Right.
He says you have to feel the desire as if it's already real.
Okay. I can see how that's different from just putting up a vision board
Right.
and hoping for the best, but how do you actually do that?
Yeah.
Make yourself feel something that isn't tangible yet?
Well, Hill talks about using your imagination
Okay.
in a very deliberate way.
Okay.
Think about the Wright brothers.
Okay.
They didn't just wish they could fly.
Right.
They obsessed over it.
Uh-huh.
They imagined the feeling of the wind, the mechanics of the wings, the view from the sky.
Wow.
It was so real to them, it fueled their actions.
So it's like tricking your brain into thinking it's already happening.
It is.
That actually reminds me of that study where they had people practice piano in their minds.
Right.
And their brain activity was almost identical to when they were actually playing.
That's a great connection.
Yeah.
And Hill takes this idea even further with what he calls autosuggestion.
Okay.
It's basically feeding your subconscious mind positive statements
Okay.
about yourself and your goals,
Yeah.
constantly reinforcing that belief
Wow.
until it becomes a reality.
Okay, I'm definitely sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
It's not just about wishful thinking.
No,
It's about actively shaping your beliefs and perceptions.
it is.
And Hill also talks a lot about persistence, right?
He does.
Like, even if you're feeling that emotional conviction, there are going to be bumps in the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hill was adamant that most people fail, not because they lack talent or opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
but because they give up too easily.
Oh,
He uses the analogy of a gold miner
okay.
who quits digging just 3 feet from a vein of gold.
Wow.
The vision, the desire, that's the starting point.
Right.
But persistence is the fuel that keeps you going when things get tough.
It's interesting because that ties into another concept he talks about.
Yeah.
The idea that our assumptions about the world actually shape our reality.
Yes.
So if you believe that success is hard to come by,
Mm.
you're more likely to find evidence to support that belief.
Exactly.
Wow.
And Hill doesn't just leave it at that.
Yeah.
He gives very specific techniques for overcoming that negativity.
Right.
He talks about the importance of surrounding yourself with a mastermind group,
Okay.
people who support your vision and challenge you to grow.
Okay, now that's something I haven't heard before.
Uh-huh.
This mastermind thing, is it like a superpowered support group?
I mean, you could think of it that way,
Okay.
but how does that actually work in practice?
Right.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed how being around certain people just drains your energy
Oh, for sure.
while others lift you up and inspire you?
I know exactly what you mean.
Right.
But how do you find those mastermind people?
Yeah.
And how do you make sure it's a mutually beneficial relationship?
Well, first, you need to be clear about your own goals and values.
Okay.
What are you passionate about? What kind of energy do you want to attract into your life?
Right.
Then look for people who share those values, who are already successful in areas you want to grow in.
So it's not just like finding mentors or anything like that. It's
No.
about finding people who are on a similar wavelength,
Yeah,
who can kind of push you and hold you accountable.
absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And Helen Hill was a big believer in the power of collaboration.
Oh, okay.
He believed that 2 minds working together could achieve more
Right.
than the sum of their parts.
Yeah.
But it's not just about bouncing ideas off each other.
Right.
It's about creating a synergy, an energy
Okay.
that propels you forward.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah.
You've got the burning desire, the
Ugh.
clear vision, the persistence to overcome obstacles.
Right?
But then Hill adds this layer of surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
This mastermind that amplifies your efforts.
Exactly.
It's like he created a blueprint for success,
Mhm.
but it's not just a one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
He gives you the tools to tailor it to your own unique circumstances.
That's a great observation.
Yeah.
And that's where his 6 steps for turning desires into reality come in.
Okay.
They're not just a checklist,
Right.
but a framework for understanding the process of manifestation.
I remember reading about those steps.
Yeah.
but they honestly felt a little abstract to me.
Okay.
Can we break this down
Sure.
and see how they connect to everything we've been talking about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So the first step is defining your desire.
Right.
This isn't just about wanting something vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
It's about crystallizing it
Yeah, okay.
into a clear, specific goal.
Right.
Hill believed that a desire without a deadline is just a wish.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm definitely guilty of having those nebulous someday goals
Right.
floating around.
Yeah.
But how do you actually turn that into a concrete plan?
That leads into the second step.
Okay.
Determine what you're willing to give in return.
Okay.
Hill was a firm believer in the principle of reciprocity.
Mm-hmm.
He said you can't just expect to receive without giving something in return.
Okay.
This could be time, effort, knowledge,
Right.
even a change in your habits.
So it's like an investment.
Exactly.
You're putting something in to get something out.
It is.
But it can't be just anything, right? It has to be something aligned with your goal.
Precisely.
Okay.
And that brings us to the third step,
Okay.
setting a deadline. This is where you create a sense of urgency, a commitment
Okay.
to achieving your goal by a specific date.
Right.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
It's about turning intention into action.
I'm starting to see how these steps build on each other. You start with a clear desire,
Yeah.
then you figure out what you're willing to invest,
Right.
and then you create a timeline for making it happen.
Exactly.
But what about those moments of doubt?
Uh-huh.
How do you stay motivated when things get tough?
That's where the fourth step comes in.
Okay.
Create a plan of action and start immediately.
Wow. Okay.
Don't get bogged down in overthinking or waiting
Right.
for the perfect moment.
Right.
Hill believed that action creates momentum, and momentum breeds confidence.
Okay.
Even small steps forward reinforce your belief
Mm-hmm.
that you're on the right track.
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
It is.
But what if you hit a roadblock?
Yeah.
What if your initial plan doesn't work out?
That's completely normal.
Okay.
And that's where the fifth step comes in.
Yeah.
Write out a clear, concise statement of your desire, what you're willing to give in return,
Okay.
and your deadline.
Right.
Hill believed in the power of writing things down,
Mm-hmm.
of making your goals tangible.
So it's not just a mental exercise.
Right.
It's about putting it out there in the physical world.
Exactly.
I can see how that would make it feel more real, more achievable.
And by reading this statement aloud twice a day,
Okay.
you're constantly reinforcing your commitment to your goal.
Right.
You're reminding yourself of what you're working towards
Mhm.
and why it's important to you.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
It's like a daily ritual for
Yeah.
staying focused and motivated.
it is.
But what about that last step?
Yeah.
I remember it being something about detachment.
Yes. The sixth and final step is to surrender your goal to a higher power.
Okay.
Now, this is where some people get tripped up.
Right.
They think it means giving up control, letting go of all responsibility.
Yeah, that always confused me too.
Yeah.
If you just surrender your goal, how are you supposed to actually achieve it?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's a nuance that Hill was very specific about.
Okay.
He wasn't suggesting passive resignation.
Right.
He was talking about surrendering the need to micromanage every detail,
Okay.
to force things to happen on your timeline.
Right.
It's about trusting that the universe has a plan,
Mm-hmm.
and that if you stay true to your purpose,
Right.
things will unfold in the right way.
So it's about letting go of that rigid attachment to
Yeah.
the how and trusting that the path will reveal itself.
Exactly.
I can see how that would be incredibly freeing, especially when you're dealing with a lot of uncertainty.
Absolutely. It's about surrendering to the journey,
Mm,
you know,
right.
knowing that there will be twists and turns,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately you'll reach your destination.
Right.
And this ties back to what we were talking about earlier
Yeah.
with emotional conviction. When you have that deep-seated belief in your goal,
Uh-huh.
you can let go of the fear and control, knowing that you're on the right path.
That's such a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
It's not about forcing things to happen.
Right.
It's about aligning yourself with the flow of the universe.
Yeah,
But it's still an active process, right?
it is.
You're not just sitting back and passively waiting for things to fall into your lap.
Exactly. Hill emphasizes the importance of taking inspired action.
Okay.
It's not about frantic effort.
You're right.
It's about taking steps that are aligned with your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
guided by your intuition.
Right.
It's about listening to that inner voice
Yeah.
that tells you when to push forward
Okay.
and when to step back and trust the process.
I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
Yeah,
The emotional conviction fuels your actions.
right.
The persistence helps you overcome obstacles. The mastermind provides support and accountability.
Yeah.
And the 6 steps provide a framework for turning your desire into reality. But it's that element of detachment that allows you to navigate the journey with grace and ease.
You got it. And that's what makes Hill's philosophy so powerful.
Right.
He's not just giving you a set of rules to follow blindly.
Right.
He's providing you with a deep understanding of the principles that govern success.
Okay.
It's about mastering your mindset, cultivating your inner strength, and aligning yourself with the forces that shape your reality.
This deep dive has been incredibly insightful. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of Napoleon Hill's work.
I think so too.
It's not just about achieving material success. It's about living a life of purpose and fulfillment.
That's the true essence of what Hill was trying to convey.
Right.
He believed that everyone has the potential for greatness. But it's up to each individual to unlock that potential by harnessing the power of their mind.
So as we wrap up,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with a challenge.
Okay.
Think about that one goal you're working towards, the one that really lights you up inside.
And ask yourself,
Yeah.
which one of these principles resonates with you the most?
Which one feels like the missing piece, the key to unlocking your next level of success?
Don't overthink it. Just trust your gut.
And then take one small step today to put that principle into action.
Because even the smallest action, when fueled by intention and belief, can create a ripple effect that transforms your entire reality.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the wisdom of Napoleon Hill.
Until next time, remember, the power is within you.